Let's imagine for a moment that every word I speak, every phrase I form has the potential to bring you deeper into understanding, even when you may not realize that it's happening. Notice how easy it is to just relax into these ideas, almost effortlessly, as they begin to sink in, quietly, and start to make more sense than they did before. It's not even a big deal, really. It's just how your mind works when it's guided with intention. Just think for a moment. What if every process you learn could gradually, and almost unnoticed, put people into a state of heightened awareness? A state where suggestions are more accepted, more powerful, simply because of the way things unfold. When you tell a story, imagine that story weaving its way into the listener's mind, shaping the landscape without them realizing the depth of the influence. Can you see it? Just like a story unfolds, the world around you is constantly unfolding too. When you think of it, every metaphor you use, it's like a gentle whisper, inviting new understanding, without the listener even needing to work hard at it. Now think about it, the idea of an eye-open somnambulism, a phrase that might sound complex, yet its simplicity hides the elegance of its power. When you start stacking open loops, gently one after another, the mind begins to drift, ever so subtly, moving towards a state where eyes are open or closed, the power of influence still remains. Let's pause here for a moment. Do you notice how you're already being led? Not forced, but simply guided, following the gentle rhythm of words, and without effort you're moving along. You're already experiencing pacing. Pacing, a truism, isn't it? So simple, so profound. When you match what's happening in someone's world, what they're feeling, seeing or doing, they don't even notice the subtle shift. Pacing connects you to them, as if you've suddenly become a part of their world. You blend in so completely. The moment you begin pacing, rapport starts to form, effortlessly. It's like becoming a mirror to someone's thoughts, gestures, or breathing patterns. They don't have to think about it, they just feel it deeply. That's the beauty of pacing. The human nervous system is incredible, and there's a subtle, almost invisible filter running, always checking, true or not true, same or different. Your job when pacing is to stay ahead of this filter, to match and mirror it, just enough. The mind doesn't have to decide, it simply knows. The first few times the mind will test, it'll check for truth, and those first few cycles through, the checking fades away. And then everything you say becomes as true as the world they live in. So what happens after that? The next time you introduce something new, it feels just as true. It's like the most natural thing in the world. In Ericksonian hypnosis, you might begin with 5 paces, then 1 lead. It's a gentle dance, 5 steps of what's true for them, and then a soft invitation to something new. It's like a song you sing, first harmonizing with them, and then gently changing the tune. After the 6th or 7th time, they're no longer testing. Everything you say resonates deeper and deeper, accepted without question, and suddenly everything shifts. Now think about how easy it is to drift into your own internal world when someone's words are in sync with yours. Imagine me speaking and you hearing my words so clearly. Do you forget whether your thoughts were your own or whether they were mine too? You might not even notice the moment you stop trying to focus. That's the beauty of pacing. So natural, so automatic, it becomes second nature. When you begin with a pace, something magical happens. There's a moment when you move from the outside world, the reality that's full of distractions, into your internal world. And in that moment, when you say, you become aware of your own thoughts. You might notice how your mind has shifted ever so slightly. That, my friend, is trance. Not the kind you might have seen in movies, but a deep, natural state of awareness. Do you realize you can do this, pacing and leading, without ever trying to force it? It can be subtle. When you start to speak, and you echo someone's words back to them, that's one of the most intimate forms of pacing. You're not doing anything more than mirroring, but in doing so, you invite them to accept everything else that follows. It's not even work, it's just a flow. As you stand next to someone, feel how their body rhythms shift. Your heartbeat might slowly begin to sink. You might even notice how their breath deepens, aligning with your own. It's not something you try to do. It happens naturally. And as you align your physiology, your posture, your breathing, you don't just synchronize with them physically. You synchronize at a deeper level. You start to feel it, don't you? How everything just clicks into place. Now don't try to force it. Instead, notice how easily you start to synchronize. It's almost as if your energy becomes a magnetic pull, drawing you closer to them. The cool thing, as soon as that happens, rapport is established. And once rapport is established, you can do anything. Think about it. Once you know how to connect with someone, whether across the room or even across the globe, it all comes down to the simplest truths. Know your outcome, control your state, get rapport, and then everything else becomes automatic. Have you ever thought about the way language shapes our world? The way every word you speak doesn't just convey a message, but also shapes the emotional and mental space around you. Words like those that you read now, they become the paintbrush with which your world is created. And in that space, you're creating outcomes, managing states, all with the natural rhythm of your words. It's not magic, it's the language of influence, and you're a part of it now. Now notice something fascinating. The more you practice these simple principles, the more you strengthen the neural connections in your brain. You're making neuroplasticity work for you effortlessly without having to think about it. You're creating change in yourself and in others just by embracing these small, consistent patterns. And if you ever find yourself unsure of what to do next, you always have steps to guide you. The steps work anywhere, anytime, because they're rooted in the way your brain works and processes information. So now, as you reflect on everything, notice how these ideas are already becoming a part of your understanding. You're already integrating them right here, right now, without having to do anything but pay attention. The best part is you'll notice these shifts more and more every day. The next time you influence, the next time you connect with someone, because as you've learned, it's all about pacing, leading. And the more you practice, the more effortless you'll weave these patterns into your world.